G'day mates, this is Eric Kim from the Eric Kim Street Photography blog. I'm with my boy Ollie Lang, and he's one of the founding members of the Mobile Photographer Group. And I'm catching up with him in Sydney to have a quick chat about mobile photography, what it is, Instagram, street photography, the whole deal. So I'm gonna take over the iPad. So, Ollie.
G'day.
So tell us more about yourself. How did you get started in street photography?
Street photography for me has always been something I got into from shooting the mobile phone, and the quality of mobile photography has increased significantly over the last few years. It's given me a lot more confidence to get a quality image out of it, so I've gotten into it on that
So
basis.
tell us more about the Mobile Photographers Group.
Okay. The Mobile Photography Group started in 2011, and it was a group of people who came together after shooting for a long time with a mobile device. And what they wanted to do was kind of push the boundaries of what was possible with a mobile phone and what people could achieve with a mobile phone as a camera. Since then it's kind of morphed, and it's still morphing, and part of the process we're going through at the moment is discovering what exactly the Mobile Photo Group can prove about mobile photography and what it actually means, or whether it's stuck to a single device or if it means photography anywhere, and how you share and how you manage that photography.
So in terms of the Mobile Photographers Group, how important is the device for the group and for your collective as a whole?
Initially, the Mobile Photography Group the Mobile Photo Group was all about shooting with a mobile phone. In our case, it was an iPhone. The iPhone sort of led the way in terms of mobile photography quality. Now some of the Androids that are coming through have got decent cameras, and I know the Nokia N8 is still a decent camera for a mobile device. What was important initially was that we showed that it could be taken seriously, that you could tell quality stories through quality images. And for us, it was I guess as much proving what we could do as proving what you can do with the device.
So why don't you show us with your camera or what you're shooting with right now?
My camera takes calls.
Okay.
So
what app are you using to take your photos with right now?
shooting with an iPhone at the moment. I'm shooting with a device called or an app called Pro Camera.
Mm-hmm.
So Pro Camera is an app specifically for shooting. It doesn't have any filters. It doesn't have any editing. And so what it does is it allows you in the Pro settings to control and lock your exposure and lock your focus. So essentially your zone focus. So for example here, if I wanted to zone focus on my hand, or take a photo in that case there, but if I wanted to change the focus, you can see now my hand's in focus.
Using the blue rectangle.
Using the rectangle. So basically the principle here is that you select what you want to be in focus with the square, and when you release your finger, that's what locks the focus point.
And what's that little circle?
So the circle is exposure. So using a white t-shirt is great for street photography, but that's another conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, the circle basically allows you to set your exposure levels. So if you put your finger on the circle, hold it and move it to where you want to have your exposure set, you can control your exposure from there. So once you've set everything, there is also a function with this app which is fantastic for shooting on the street, which is essentially full screen trigger. So I can tap anywhere on the screen just once and it shoots, and as you can see it's sort of closing off there. I'm not sure if
Can you give us a quick tutorial on how to set up the
Sure, so essentially
device?
let's pretend I've just opened the app and this is what you first see. It's in full auto mode at the moment, and I can shoot like that. However, first step is to move your exposure out of the way so you can get to your focus. So this is important with a 4S, an iPhone 4S, which has a better camera in it than the 4. And you want to set your focal point about 1 meter away from you if you're coming in close to street photography.
Yes.
So essentially that distance there, and now you're set. So you can see the screen kind of sort of squeezes in and out just to show you that it's locking. Now the exposure, if I was to show you here, the exposure's way overexposed here, so we'd move it down there. Exposed for highlights when you're shooting with an iPhone. And that's it. So
and how do you turn on expert mode?
So in expert mode, you have
So
to...
how do you turn it on?
Sure, expert mode is set in this section here. So what happens is you go in and you turn expert mode on. So that's expert mode off, expert mode on.
And how do you turn on full screen?
Full screen shutter is in the Pro settings. So Pro settings here.
Yeah.
Expert mode, that's one that you have to turn on initially. Now that it's on, I can set it in that other area. And now full screen trigger is just at the base here. When you first set full screen trigger, you want to turn anti-shake off.
Okay.
Otherwise, anti-shake will make sure you aren't moving for every photo, and that can be a bit frustrating because you might have already underexposed to compensate for any sort of movement.
So for guys who shoot with Android devices, is there another camera app you recommend?
No, at the moment I haven't seen any camera apps for Android that that sort of replace this functionality on Android. With Android, we usually just underexpose and set the maximum underexposure, and you can control Android camera a bit better than you can with an iPhone. It's a bit more obvious, the settings you're using. Now, I should probably show you also, there's a new app out, 645 Pro. So this is another camera app which has just come out, which is has the same functions, basic functions as Pro Camera, but it doesn't have the full screen trigger at present. So I can also still set my autofocus and auto exposure, and away I go. So this is an option for other people who do not like Pro Camera, who want to see things like the ISO, and everything underneath here. So you can see this is getting a little bit more, sort of on the line with what a photographer will want to see when they're using an iPhone. But it doesn't change the fact that shooting with an iPhone should be about mobility. It should be about ease of use. I mean, if you're getting too technical, you should probably get a dedicated camera. But if you want to be ready in any situation, this is the best way to have your Pro Camera app or your 645 Pro ready to go.
So what's the focal length of the iPhone camera?
The focal length is 28 millimeters.
And is there any shutter lag when you're actually taking photos?
There's minimal shutter lag, absolutely minimal. If you're particularly with full screen trigger, or another way to make sure there's no lag is to make sure you don't have too much memory used up on your phone. I find if you've used up or you've only got 500 megabytes left on your phone, it can be a little slow.
And let's talk a little bit about Instagram. So,
sure.
Is Instagram just about shooting hipstamatic and uploading it, or is this something else?
Yeah, Instagram is only for hipstamatic. Of course, I'm joking. I mean, Instagram has come in well towards the end of, I guess, what was the rise of iPhoneography. Originally, I guess the sharing was all to do with Twitter, following the iPhoneography hashtag or mobile photography hashtag. Nowadays, with Instagram, everyone's going to a single place. It's much more communal. There is a lot more, a huge number of people coming through and using the app. But it's not just about using like a hipstamatic or a shake it photo. It's not just a toy. There is a lot of people out there that are getting into it and using it seriously, taking great quality photos with a mobile device and sharing it and telling stories from all sorts of places around the world.
So what if I have, a DSLR or a point and shoot or a Micro Four Thirds camera or any other digital camera, but I still want to share photos on Instagram, but I hate the square crop?
Yep.
How do you alleviate that problem?
Currently for the iPhone, we use an app which is essentially purpose-built to get around that for Instagram. Now Instagram is square crop, it's a 1:1 ratio image. What we do is we put our 4:3 image into that app and put it inside a square so that when we go load it with a white background, it just looks like it's the original.
So can you give us a quick walkthrough on the app?
Sure. So at the moment I'm using Square Ready.
So that's the name of the app?
Yeah. So Square Ready is the app I'm currently using.
Okay.
So from here, I open up Photos. So if we have a look around here, we can have a look at some shots from earlier today. So as you can see, this app is supported by ads.
Nice shot, by the way.
Yeah, so this is the original. This is the square crop that it provides you with. By pressing the second one just there, it now shows you the full image. So now you do all your editing to that, your post processing.
Yes.
Sorry. Once you've shot the image, you save it down. After that, you bring it into this app, and therefore that's your image there. Now you can save it. You can send it to Instagram in that format. I usually like to save it. I might not want to complete my upload to Instagram right now, and you can save it in full quality now. Instagram at the moment is only 612 by 612, so you can save data by using this this size here. I usually just save it full res just so it turns out good quality. So save away there. Alright, we're done.
Right, and then you could just send it straight to Instagram.
So if I wanted to go to Instagram from there, I would go through into the load function, wait for it, and I would pick my image. Now as you can see there, you're getting the full image, you're getting the entire image, you're not limited to the square crop, which would otherwise be. So at the moment I can put it up with a black background, but it doesn't look good on the user interface they've got, or I can zoom in and crop it to however I want. So
that's good.
Okay.
So Ollie, so going back to the mobile photographer group, so what is essentially your guys' mission statement, and what are some big plans you guys have for this year?
I think the mobile photography group is a collective. There are a whole lot of different ideas and thoughts about what's possible for a group of people who are dedicated to sharing from a mobile device. And I think this is the key point now. We've gone from shooting with a mobile device to looking at just how important it is to share from a mobile device. And you see people now who shoot with a DSLR or a Micro Four Thirds, and what they're doing is they're using a iFi card to send their images direct from their camera to an iPad and upload their images from a dedicated camera into Instagram or online, just so they're providing people with a much more near-time experience as to what's going on in the world. I think there is a lot of that. I think there is a push for the immediacy of information, and particularly photographic information. But at the same time, it's not just now. What we're looking to do is get more people involved in photography. And so the mobile photo group, it really does come first, or it's come from being able to take quality images with a mobile phone. But now it's more about helping others get what they want out of a mobile device. And for us, it's not so much what we can do as to what we can all get involved in. We've had Earth Hour photo walks in Sydney where people have turned up with their mobile phones and walked for a few hours through Sydney taking street photography, which is exactly the sort of stuff I love to do. So showing them my secret spots, which was
yeah.
We've also done work with the City of Sydney, so we've shown the City of Sydney sort of their initiatives for greening spaces, and made that a part of what we do by sharing that online on social media. But there's also things like we do a grunge walk here in Sydney, so we'll get up at 6 a.m. and we'll walk around Sydney. But at the same time, we've got a bunch of guys in Melbourne who are doing it. And so Melbourne and Sydney are sharing their images at the same time, and we're building these relationships between people geographically separate, but with a common interest in photography, street photography, urban photography. And it's all about having that relationship and managing that online and developing a relationship with people from not only within Australia but also around the world.
So when it comes to mobile photography, there's a huge emphasis on getting your photos out there, sharing with people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is, once again, the immediacy. So when it comes to street photography, do you find difficult time spending more time to edit your work, to sit on your images before you upload them, or are you pressured to constantly produce work and upload it? And what are some other disadvantages you might find about using Instagram as a platform, or shooting street photography with an iPhone or a mobile device or anything of the sort?
I think shooting with an iPhone is always about immediate work, immediate post-processing, immediate sharing. It's always there. You can edit, post-process on the bus, you can shoot on the bus, you can share on the bus. That's the thing. You can do it at any time, in any place. It's very personal. I do think that there is a real push to continually produce, and I think that sometimes detracts from the quality aspect that you get from people who shoot film, and the discipline that shooting film brings to your photography. I guess what I've found is you need to, and particularly from the pressure, to manage the pressure, you need to have almost an attitude of is this a photograph of an experience, or is this photograph the experience? And I mean, I always know good photographs that I've seen, to me, they're an experience. You know, it's not what's in the photograph, it's the photograph itself. So I think more and more people are starting to understand that you don't share the experience, you share the photograph of the experience, and you need to produce a photograph to get the full range of, I guess, what they were seeing, what they saw in the moment. So I think initially there is a lot of pressure to just share, to get shared on Instagram, on Flickr, wherever. But that, for a lot of people, I'm seeing that dissipates, and they'll take maybe a couple of days off just to stop and think about what they're really doing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of procrastination photography. You see a lot of food, you see a lot of coffee, you see a lot of cats.
How about rainbows?
A lot of rainbows. That's not a bad thing, because people need to be comfortable taking photographs, and it's part of a learning experience, but it's not part of the experience that I guess you want to see every day. If you're going to get into, if you're really serious about photography, you want to see experience, you want to see stuff that challenges you, pushes you, interests you, and that's okay, because you don't have to follow those people. You can just move on. You know, build your relationships with people whose work you really want to get into, you really want to learn from.
So let's say I never used Instagram before.
Sure.
You know, I download all the apps, I start shooting. You know, what are some websites, resources, people I should follow?
Okay.
How can I find more about the Mobile Photographer Group?
Yeah, I think, well, the Mobile Photography Group is on Instagram. We're all on, I think all of us are on Instagram. On Instagram, we're under The Mobile Photo, so that's all one word, The Mobile Photo. But it's not just about the group. There's also a huge amount of street photography coming from mobile devices, and I think particularly people who come to your blog, who see this, it's worth going and seeing what the capabilities of a mobile device are. I mean, these are shots with Hipstamatic, which is on full auto essentially, all the way through to the pro cameras, to that really specific high-end sort of, I guess, controlled shooting, where you're looking to get ultimate control. Misho, who you met, Eric, down in Melbourne, he will often put up a post saying, who's the best, you know, who are the good street photographers on Instagram? And he'll get hundreds and hundreds of responses. So if you're interested, you know, you can follow the street photography hashtag, you can follow people who you like, and even better in Instagram, you can follow through what those people are liking and commenting on. And that's the real channel, and that's the real success of Instagram. It's not just simply showing what people do, it's showing what people like. And by following what people like, you start getting an understanding for what the inspirations are for the mobile photographers out there. I think that's really important, because there are people who share their Leica, their 9 shots, their film photography on Instagram, and you'll find that by basically just exploring the area.
And so where can we find the Mobile Photography Group website, or how can people check out more of your work? Or
Google, just get to Google, check in the Mobile Photo Group, check us out. We've got a new website coming on with much more content. We've realised that there's a huge need for people to learn how to take quality images with a mobile phone, because it is the camera that most people have with them. A lot of people might even be watching this video on a mobile phone. You go straight from here to the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
So the apps I was talking about before, Pro Camera, edit with Snapseed, share on Instagram. I also put all my shots up to Flickr if I think that they're worth seeing. So.
And there was the Square.
And the other one, if you want to try to control how your image looks on Instagram, is Square Ready. That's actually Square, the word Square, then Eddie. But you'll see there's quite a few different apps up there that let you do that. And I mean, the best thing you can do is get on Instagram and start exploring. Start looking for the people under the Mobile Photo Group. You should find all their links on the website there. And then follow through, look at what they're looking at, because we're looking at a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Anything
else you'd like to add, or some people you'd like to give a shout out to, or things, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think just generally in the mobile photography community, it's actually a very supportive community. People there realise that it's actually a great place to make mistakes. It's not a great place, you know. It's not where you have to be the best and do the best all the time. There's a lot of exploration into the device and what the capabilities are, and I think there's a lot of people that are really enthusiastic about it, which is really good. You can feed off that. But yeah, just go to everyone out there. Look forward to seeing you on Instagram if you come by. If you have any questions, ask away on Instagram or wherever. And thanks to Eric for the interview. because
Oh, no
we're looking
problem.
forward to getting him and his Instagram.
Yeah. So, guys, make sure I'll put all the information, the details below, and check out more of the mobile photography group. A lot of good stuff to come. And this is Ollie Lang. You want to give us a nice gunshot, like your gun? Yeah, bang bang. That's what's up, baby. All right.
See you, Eric.
Thanks a lot, man.
See you
Cheers.
around.